What's up guys, I'm Chase Brogan, and today in this video we're checking out the GMKTec K16 mini PC. Now this is a compact gaming desktop that actually packs some serious power. Inside this mini PC you're getting the AMD Ryzen 7 7735HS processor that's 8 cores, 16 threads, with speeds up to 4.75 GHz. Now this mini PC is also paired with the AMD Radeon 680M graphics, which is actually strong enough to handle high-end gaming. And it doesn't stop there, we've got 32 GB of RAM and a 1TB NVMe SSD installed within here running Windows 11. So multitasking and load times should be pretty quick. So today we're going to unbox this, we'll take a closer look at the layout and design, and then we're going to test it out and see what the gaming performance is like on this mini PC. Let's dive into it. Alright guys, we'll go ahead and open this up. Now, definitely much more compact than what I was anticipating based on the size of the box. We're going to set the actual mini PC aside for a moment. Let's go in here a little bit deeper and see what else is included in here. Alright, so we've got our user manual inside here. So, walks through the layout of the actual device, shows you where all the ports are. We're going to dive into that momentarily. Walks through your setup process up there. We've got some diagrams, walks through the menu screens, all that good stuff. And it's in a bunch of different languages, so each page pretty much repeats itself in different languages. We'll go ahead and set that aside. So we've got two more compartments inside here. Let's open up the larger one first. So we've got our warranty card right over here. We've got our HDMI cable. We've got part 1 to our power supply cable. So this is the end that's going to plug into the actual outlet. We'll go into the next box here, which I imagine is the other part of that. And there we go. So this is the end that's going to plug into the backside of our mini PC. This end is going to plug in just like so. Outlet, plug into the back of the PC, powers everything on, HDMI cable. Let's set that stuff aside. Alright guys, here's our mini PC. Now what I really like about this is it's very sleek and very industrial looking. So the entire outer shell is metal, so very durable. Now across the front panel here, you'll notice that of course we got our power button over here. We've got our audio jack cable connection right there, so you can bring headphones into the mix. We got two side-by-side USB 3 ports. We've got our Oculink here, and we've got a USB 4 right over here, which is of course Type-C. Now, what's really cool about the Oculink is that it's already installed, and that may sound like, duh, of course it's installed. A lot of mini PCs you have to install that yourself. You'll see that it usually comes in like a little sleeve in the packaging, so this one's ready to go. You don't have to worry about installing anything, opening up your mini PC, none of that stuff. Now, if we go over here to the side, ventilation over here. If we go to the other side, ventilation over here as well. So great airflow, I can tell already. Now, if we flip this to the bottom side, you can see we've got our cooling fan. This is a good sized cooling fan located right there in the middle. We also have 4 rubber feet on here on each side. So this sits on a desk, grips on perfectly. In fact, I'm trying to push this forward and it barely moves across the surface. So locks itself in here to be safe and secure. Now, if we go to the back side, this is where our additional ports are. So we've got our DC power supply cable connection over here. We've got this sticker, which is actually covering up 2 Ethernet ports back here. I'm going to put that back on. I'm probably going to use Wi-Fi today. I don't think I'll do the wired connection, but for streaming, live gaming, all that stuff, Ethernet is definitely the way to go for the most stable and fast connection. We have HDMI cable connection over here. We've also got a DisplayPort cable connection. So between these and that USB 4 in the front, we've got triple display capabilities from this GMKTec mini PC. Now we also have another USB 3 port and then a regular USB 2 right below that, all of which are USB-A between those two there and the 2 in front. So 4 USB-A cable connections, 1 Type-C on here, and then between that Type-C and the HDMI DisplayPort, triple display capabilities. Now before we fire this up, I want to flip this over to the bottom side. Now you'll notice that we have those 4 feet on here. Now typically with a lot of mini PCs, you have to remove the rubber end to this to access screws and then be able to open everything up. With this unique design, all you have to do is simply pinch it, and these actually unscrew. So they are the screw themselves. You don't have to remove the rubber end or anything like that. So I'm going to do exactly that. We're going to remove all 4 of these just so I can show you guys how you would open this up if you wanted to. Now I'm not going to do anything within here. I'm just simply doing this for demonstration purposes. but it doesn't get any easier than this. I mean, this is such a simple thing to do. It's crazy to me that mini PCs up until this point have not done that. So this outer shell slides right off like so. You can see that cooling fan there. And then if we flip this over to the top, you can see the fan up there as well. And then you can start diving in here. You'll notice that there's 4 screw holes. You can remove that. You'd be able to then access your RAM. You'd be able to access your internal storage capacity, swap out the SSDs, upgrade them, make them bigger if you wanted to. I see no reason to. We got 1 terabyte in here as it is. So I'm going to go ahead and reinstall this shell. And we're going to fire this up, dive into some games, and test out the performance.
You win. Round 2. Fight. Break. Break.
All right, guys, the K16 from GMKTec. Wow, this is a unique design, very durable, very well made, and it offers some exceptional performance. Now, I've only reviewed a handful of mini PCs from GMKTec, but every one that I've reviewed has been a great experience. They're very well made, they're very reliable, and they offer a lot of power in a very small scale mini PC. Now, most mini PCs, they're lightweight, they're compact, and they're oftentimes plastic. This one is all metal, so it weighs a little bit more. It's got a little bit different of a design. I think it's a little bit taller. The body size of it is more or less the same as what you typically get with mini PCs, but it is a little bit thicker. And I think a lot of why it's thicker is if you take a closer look at it, there's a lot of seams here that are open. There's a gap on the top, there's a gap on the bottom, there's gaps all around the edges here, and that's by design. That's so you have great airflow. We have two large size grates on both sides. We also have two cooling fans installed, one on the top, one on the bottom. So this stays cool to the touch even when diving into the more demanding titles. Now, I also love the fact that we have a great port offering on here. We have HDMI, we have DisplayPort, and we have USB-C, USB 4. So between those three options right there, you get triple display capabilities. We also have an Oculink though. Now, I don't use Oculink all that much, but for those that want that in a mini PC, rest assured it's here, it's installed, and it's ready to go. That may sound strange. Let me explain. A lot of mini PCs that do offer Oculink, you actually have to install the Oculink yourself. That means you have to open up your mini PC. The Oculink will actually come in a separate little sleeve, and then you have to install that yourself. It's not a super tedious process. It's pretty much straightforward, but it's one more thing that you have to do. And if you're paying a premium price for a mini PC, in my opinion, it should come ready to go right out of the box. So that's exactly what we get right over here. Now we also have multiple USB 3 ports on here. We have an additional USB 2 port on the back as well, which I ended up using for my mouse or my keyboard today. But the USB 3 ports are great for flash drives, controllers, external SSDs or hard drives if you have a gaming setup that you want to incorporate into the mix. That's exactly what I did to demo everything here today. And for the record, the games that I played are not pre-installed on here. So, you know, just for clarity, those are games that I just tested this with. And you saw what the performance was like. This can handle everything for retro video game emulation. This can handle GameCube, PlayStation 1, 2, and 3, Xbox, Xbox 360. This can even handle Nintendo Wii, Wii U, and Nintendo Switch emulation. Now, some games will have some limitations that's generally based on the capabilities of the emulators and all that stuff. It's not a reflection on the performance of this unit. Now, beyond that, you can get into some AAA games, but there's some limitations there. Oftentimes, it comes down to graphics. You may have to adjust your graphics a little bit depending on the title. You may have to scale it down a little bit. At the end of the day, you got to remember, this is not to replace a full-scale gaming PC that may cost upwards of $1,000. This is significantly less in price. It's also much smaller, so your capabilities are going to be a little bit more limited, but there's serious bang for your buck here. And to learn more about the price point, click the link in the description of this video because prices these days are fluctuating, sometimes on a daily basis. There's a lot of shortages right now in the supply chain. So, you know, RAM, all that stuff, SSDs, hard drives, all that stuff is just through the roof right now. But click over, learn more about this product. That's going to do it for today, though. But hit me up in the comments and let me know what you thought about the performance that you saw and how you would use the K16 GMKTec Mini PC. Thanks for your support. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.